Yeah. One West. UPK, easy. They in the fourth dimension from. Can't to study me, you see me? Just go and be a tick. Me keep my circle kinda small as my should. We firm like the China wild dog, my good. Me learn the game of Minecraft. Them say dog, oh nobody can see you, none at all from where they. You see me when you see me, you see me. Right I know we not the pan the gimmicks me ya. Coffee for me can nobody not give we no steamy. Yo sky the limit dog. If you not like weed, then go suck your mother. We no give a fuck neither. One way sit out with team, yeah what them me rather. Try no mess with my brother. You no like weed, then I suck your mother. We no give a fuck neither. One way sit on my team, yeah what them me rather. Try no mess with the brothers. Hey, inna the game of life, just try no say life and no game. Me get gain from the pain, and that's why you see me a stain at the flame. Hey, oh you mean if me change this? I know the youth we used to play in the lane, at the big man this with the name and the fame. A lucky thing we nah no stain for we name. Hey, the pussy them stay for we name. This a UPK, we have the place away. We stay from the beta mail, man up to stay in them lane because some of them are paid dog. Oh gosh, what a shame. Me and my dog, them say we straight like a plane. Man a kill a charge, me say just the way we train. And any boy, this no cost no blame. If you no like weed, then go suck your mother. Me no give a fuck neither. One day sit on me team, yeah what them me rather. Try not trouble my brother. You no like weed, then I suck your mother. We no give a fuck neither. One day sit on with team, you what them rather. Try no mess with the brothers. Hey, me keep my circle kinda small as my should. We firm like the China wild dog, my good. Me learn the game of Minecraft. Them say dog, oh nobody can see you, none at all from where they. You see me when you see me, you see me. Right now we not depend the gimmicks we are. Unfulfilled, we can't nobody knock you, we no steamy. Yo, sky the limits, dog. If you no like weed, then go suck your mother. We no give a fuck neither. One day sit out with him, yeah, what that be rather. Try not trouble my brother. You no like weed, then I suck your mother. We no give a fuck neither. One day sit at the team, yeah, what them rather. Try no mess with the brothers. You know it. Yeah, you see it. Equilibrium. Tribe vibes. You know. Abadawa.
All right, shalom, Israel. You know what I mean? Welcome again to another ISUPK Wednesday night law class. My name is Priest and Officer 500 Kayad 1 out of ISUPK Jamaica under commanding General YAHANNA. I say Yahweh Basham Yawashai Brakatham to my brothers, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Basham Yawashai to my sisters. All right, so we're currently in, you know what I mean, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, of course, the 12th of April. The ISUPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA celebrated the Lord's 56th annual Passover. You understand? You might ask yourself a question. How is it that the Christian church do not celebrate the Passover and the Passover is all over the Bible? I mean, Christ himself celebrated the Passover. See? So why is it the Christian church not celebrating the holy days inside of the Bible? But they are celebrating pagan holidays like Easter, which is nothing more than the worship of this idol, which is Astoret, you know what I mean, go by many names, Ishtar, the Queen of Heaven, and in today's date, you know what I mean, this is the Virgin Mary, you understand, who somehow had a child, you know what I mean, without intercourse with a man. You understand? But it all goes back to ancient Babylon. You know what I mean? Fast forward to the Romans with Ishtar. You understand? You know what I mean? And we call her what's the name? Here's a name for her. Diana. You understand? And now in today's time, them call her the Virgin Mary, or the Mother of God, or the Queen of Heaven. You understand? And also, before we jump in at that door, we are going, you know what I mean, as usual, which is necessary, we're going to put a little cut to the Rastafari community. You understand? Because we have been telling you that Rastafariism gets most of its custom from the Indian community here in Jamaica, specifically the Hindus who came here as indentured servants back in the 1800s. You understand? So we're going to show you an Indian or a mix Indian Rastafarian, because there are a lot of coolie Rastas here in Jamaica, you know. A lot of Indian or Rastas here in Jamaica, but they did not forget them culture, and they are not, we call it now, they are not unfamiliar with their people's culture and know enough that the Rastafari culture takes a lot from their people's culture. You understand? And without further ado, we're going to play this tape. Remember to like, share, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. You understand? If you have questions, please leave it in the chat. All right? We're going to play that tape there. Hopefully you can see it. All right, let me just enlarge it on the screen if possible.
Bring from India, apart from
1 second before we start play that. Oh, now we'll get no bigger, you know, TikTok. All right, so we have to just work with this.
curry. What is that stronghold? Where the Indians bring from India, apart from curry, chickpeas, weed, where everybody love and know, ganja again, ganges. All right. So what we are do is, these people bring this, and then bring this. Yes. Yes. India invent this. All right. Question it if you want. India invent that. Much 1,000 years. Name Jata. Same like how people like Spain guitar, and I say Spain invent guitar. India invent that. If you look on the Veena, it's a string instrument, the oldest string instrument. We play by Mother Saraswati.
All right, hopefully you can hear that. So with this Rasta, which is of Indian descent, not native Indian, you know, not our Hispanic brothers, the Arawak and Taino, who, you know what I mean, were genocide of here in Jamaica, or who, you know what I mean, dwell in some of the Caribbean islands, North, Central, and South America. We're talking about the East Indian who came from India. See, this man is of East Indian descent, but he's a Rasta here in Jamaica. And him fed up. You understand, especially that the ISUPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA here in Jamaica have been bringing out the facts. You understand, that we learned from the ISUPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA. See, that the Rastafari culture takes from the East Indian culture. You understand? And him can concur with that. And he's bringing it out because, of course, the East Indians in Jamaica know them culture. And him attack. So him say, you know what I mean, the weed, the marijuana, you know what I mean, because some of us may have thought, you know what I mean, have become so entrenched in Rastafari culture that we think the smoking of marijuana comes from Africa. You know what I mean? No. The smoking of marijuana, as a matter of fact, when you check it, Africans really start taking on to the smoking of marijuana. And it's really Jamaicans them a follow, because the Jamaican culture is so, you know what I mean, big in Africa. Africans are not marijuana smokers. So, but if you follow the Rastafari community, you would think that marijuana come from Africa. It did not. It came from the East Indians. And they are the ones that brought marijuana smoke to Jamaica. You understand? Because smoking marijuana is part of the worship of Shiva. You understand? This whole concept of smoking weed being a religious sacrament, all of that come from India. And it did not came here by the people who were brought over here from the west coast of Africa. It was brought here by the people who were brought here as indentured servants. You understand? So this man I bring it out. The Indians then bring weed, zin, ganja, right? And then bring jattas, that is where you see the rasta them wear upon them head and them call it locks. It's not locks. You understand? As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring out what locks really is, because how the rasta them get the concept of locks is from the Bible. Zin, and with Samson, him having 7 locks, right? So what they did was they copied the East Indian Shiva Jattas, which I'm sorry you can't see it on TikTok, but over on YouTube, the viewers are able to see it. This man is wearing the Shiva Jattas, right? Which is basically the bongo you see on the the Rasta them head, the Bobo Shanti them have it, you know what I mean? The what you call them? The Naya Bingi and even the 12 tribes, Rasta them wear it. This big patch up, you know what I mean, cake up thing on them head. You understand? Squeaky clean, say, y'all so trash. You know what I mean? Well, squeaky clean, you don't sound too squeaky clean, you know. Because if you were squeaky clean, you would have been in the ISUPK and a commanding general, yeah. You understand? And apparently you are not. See? But anyway, so that is what them are wear, Shiva Jattas. But let me show you what locks really is. You know what I mean? See? Let me show you what locks is. The locks that Samson wore is not where you see the Rasta them are wear. You understand? And remember, like let me tell you, the Rasta them get this locks concept from the Bible with Samson. See, there's no other place on earth before the Bible that you get this locks concept. You understand? There's nowhere else. See? No, we are going to read locks here in the Bible, in the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. So this is saying, this is locks, right? So the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary explains, you know what I mean, everything pertaining to the Bible, the history, the origin of things that Rastafarians, Christians may not, they not take the time to comprehend. You understand? Well, the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary breaks down the origin and the definition of many other things in the Bible. And locks, we are on the subject of locks, right? And this says, locks in reference to the hair of the head. So a locks is in reference to one's ear on the head, like Samson. Samson had 7 locks. Let me continue. It said, locks rendered several different Hebrew words. In Numbers 6 and 5, the term indicate the unshorn and disheveled braids, like locks of the Nazarite. See? In Judges 16 and 13 and 19, the braided, I want to listen to these words because these are very important for you to understand. You know what I mean? The Bible. You understand? The Bible is not a fairy tale book that everybody can just take away from and add to their religion. The Bible is a custom of a people who, you know what I mean, who still exist right now, but lost their history through slavery. You understand? So this is telling you that the braided locks of the Nazarite Samson. So it's telling you something. It's telling you that Samson locks was braids. Like this, where you see. And you see the brothers in the ISUPK wear. Let me put it up on the screen on TikTok. And not TikTok. And Facebook and YouTube. See there? This is what locks is. Braids. Braids. You know what I mean? We can't emphasize it enough. That is why you see the brothers in the ISUPK always wearing braids. See? Because unlike the Rastafari community, we know the origin of, you know what I mean, and the real meaning of what locks are. I mean, a lock is something that you can pull after you lock it. Like if you have a lock and you put it on your grill, it's not a lock unless you can pull it. It's more like a trap than anything else. You understand? So our custom was to lock our ear, pull it back, and lock it back. And that what you see the East Indians wearing, that is not locks. Those are Shiva Jattas. What you see the Rastafarians wearing are Shiva Jattas. Come from the East Indians. But how did this come about? How did you not know about this? Well, all right, we're going to touch upon an article. You know what I mean? Hopefully we have the time enough to cover both this and the Easter. You know what I mean? We might have to run through it. But, you know what I mean? You know, bear with me a bit. 1 second. Let me pull up the information. Give me a second. In the meanwhile, everybody, want to just tap up the screen, like, share, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. All right? Give me a sec. Da. 1 second. All right, let me just pull it from the email. And if you don't have questions, just please leave it in the chat. You know what I mean? We're willing to interact. You know the thing go. This is a class. If you don't have questions, we're glad to answer them. All right? Let me just pull it from the email. Give me a second. One sec. Give me a sec. You know what I mean? My apologies because we are transfer the information from one computer to the next. So we not get to sort them out yet, but just bear with me a bit. So pull it up. See? 1 second. Give me a sec. All right. Just a few more seconds. Almost there. All right. So we have it right here. Zin? All right. So how many of you heard about Leonard Howell? Does anybody in the chat know about a man named Leonard Howell? Let me zoom in on this. Does anybody know about a man named Leonard Howell? Who know who Leonard Howell is? May I ask the chat? Who is Leonard Howell? Who is Leonard Howell? Somebody say, yeah, them know. All right, so who is he? Leonard Howell. Does anybody know who Leonard Howell is? Very popular name, but you know what I mean? You might have to know a bit about the Rastafari religion to really know what role in play. You understand? Who is Leonard Howell? Does anyone know? All right, somebody say yeah, but them not say. Somebody say fake Rastafari. All right, Mood will say fake Rastafari. You know what I mean? And you know, that is a loaded answer too, because to call them man the fake Rastafari is to call Rastafariism fake in general. Because Leonard Owen is the founder of the Rastafari religion. Leonard Owen. Let me see if we can get him. No, I can't get him picture up right now. Can I? No, I can't get him picture up right now. All right, so watch I know. Whoa, whoa. Hey, brother, Daniel, people of the book. Hey, listen me, you don't understand what you say no, because no, you say he was a CIA operative. So if he was a CIA operative, that means a CIA operative start the Rastafari religion. Of course, me can't confirm if he was a CIA operative. Our understanding is that he was a Gaviite. All right, so you know what I mean? I'll go on react to Daniel for the next, you know what I mean, 2 minutes, because he must say some serious things. See? So Daniel, people of the book say King Emmanuel is the Rastaman in this country. All right. So me take it as a Bobo Shanti. So, you know what I mean? We know that you have different factions of Rastafariism, and Bobo Shanti follow Prince Emmanuel. His real title is really Prince Emmanuel, what them call him. See? Prince Emmanuel, you know what I mean, came after Leonard Owen. Leonard Owen and his followers was the people who coined the term Rastafarian and coined the concept of Rastafari. Unless, you know what I mean, Daniel, you never really, know about that. You see, the thing about these, you know what I mean, being a member of a certain Rastafarian group, you might prejudice based by your group, but guess what? The facts still remain. Without Leonard Owen, there would be no such thing as Rastafarian movement. So Prince Emmanuel came afterward and now him start the Bobo Shanti Rastafari movement. But the Rastafari movement existed before him through Leonard Owen. But if you are saying that Leonard Owen, which you can't confirm, is a CIA operative, which I would not put that past the oppressor. See, because the oppressor tends to do things like this, setting people in place to lead our people after, right? If you are saying Leonard Owen is a CIA operative, I don't think you understand what you are saying. You are saying that, which means we have to go look into this then. Maybe this is information that we, you know what I mean, may have glanced over. This need to be studied, because if Leonard Owen is a CIA operative, then Rastafariism was created by the CIA. And bear in mind, I was questioning Prince Emmanuel as well, because he just pop up on the scene from nowhere. And what we find out about enough of these things is them people that just come from nowhere. Of course, Leonard Owen was a Gaviite based on our understanding. And many are the founders of the Rastafari movement. See? But I wouldn't put anything past the oppressor. You understand? So, all right, for now, Daniel, we're going to get back on topic, but we're going to look into what you just said. If Leonard Owen is a CIA operative, then Rastafariism was created by the CIA. Yeah, he was a soldier. I don't remember if he's definitely Navy SEAL, but we know say him a soldier. Him did in a Panama at one point. You understand? Him did a follow Marcus Garvey at one point. And then he ended up in Jamaica, Clarendon, knocked head with the East Indians, we're going to read right now. See? So this is Brill.com, see? And it says, Owell emerged in Clarendon. Of course, it's an entire article, but we're going to skip to the point, right? I know that he was a soldier, you know what I mean, in the US military, yeah? We know that. But Navy SEAL is skipping me right now. I don't know exactly if, I don't remember exactly if he was a Navy SEAL. You understand? But we know he was a soldier. And we know him also that follow Marcus Garvey at one point. But now that you are mentioning these things, at least we'd have them things in the back of our mind, you know, say, no, sir. Now them people are just, you know what I mean, pop up convenient so on the scene. So we have in the back of our mind, say maybe Prince Emmanuel was some kind of plan. But whatever that thinks about Leonard Owen. Now that you mention it, maybe you disclose some valuable information. It don't work out to your benefit, by the way. It work out to the destruction of the same Rastafari religion. Because as me tell you, if Leonard Owen is a CIA operative, Rastafariism is a CIA religion. You understand? So, I think you just shot yourself in your foot, you know. You understand? Let me continue reading. It say, Owen, emergence in Clarendon took place at a time when many East Indians lived in parts of the parish. All right, let me make sure this is being shared on the screen. You understand? All right, Kappa Bana Yahawada said, La sir, I never heard of him. Yeah, he's the founder of the Rastafari movement, sis. Leonard Owen. You understand? All right, let's continue. It is therefore no surprise that, as both Hill and Lee have pointed out, Owen made use of his exposure to Indian culture and the Hindi language. You understand? If evidence of this was seen in his decision to author the Promise Key under the pseudonym G.G. Mara, which is, I think, Ganga Guru, which you know the word guru come from the Hindus. Guru, Ganga Guru, or what's the proper Gangan Guru, right? That's Leonard Owen. So while in Clarendon, where most of the East Indians settled because they work on the sugar plantations, and many of the prominent sugar plantations were, you know what I mean, in Clarendon, and settle, and them have a big, they call it now, community still in Clarendon. You understand? Him say King Emmanuel is the first Rastaman. That's incorrect. That goes against every, you know what I mean, everything that is historical here in Jamaica. Every record. And unless you are making a claim that you are not able to prove, because guess what go on now? The history prove otherwise. This is talking about the formation of the Rastafari movement. You understand? The CIA took away who? You're talking about Prince Emmanuel? Anyway, let me continue. So, while in Clarendon, Leonard Owen knocked head with the same indentures as children of the indentured servants who are the East Indians. You understand? Let me continue. Which his followers later expanded to Ganga Guru Mara, and then contracted to gang. So the word gang is also an Indian word, like where Bob Marley is titled as gang. I have his son, Junior Gang. These are Hindu words. You understand? Let me continue reading. Slakia. See, let me continue. Name Slakia. Names which Owen embrace and demonstrate the political influence of Indian culture. Indians had arrived as indentured laborers and were attracted to Owen by his opposition to colonialism based on their experience in Jamaica. And through his association with the Indians, he enhanced his anti-colonial message. An estimated 37,000 Indians had arrived in Jamaica between 1843 and 1960, mostly to do the plantation work that the black population had done as slaves, and which many had abandoned after the emancipation of 1838. They were unwilling to accept the unfair wages, high rent for a plantation household, and the poor management practice of the planters. To make matters worse, most of these planters were also their farmer slaveholders. You understand? All right. Let's scroll along. It says, Owell used of Indo-visual symbolism in the promotion of the Rastafari movement has received attention. So this article is basically telling you how Owell started the Rastafari movement. It all started in Pinnacle. Don't make nobody fool you. You understand? The Bobo Shanti was just one of the, you know what I mean, breaks off from what Owell and his initial followers started. You understand? Bobo Shanti, Naya Bingi, the 12 tribes. You understand? All of these, you know what I mean, came after Owell. You know what I mean? And we have a find with these Rastafarians groups. You know what I mean? They are going to try and justify their authenticity. You know what I mean? Separating themselves from information that will become damaging to them foundation by saying that no, them start before. That's incorrect. Them never start before. You understand? Owell was the pioneer of the Rastafari movement. And we explain and break it down countless times. And this is where the custom come from. So, all right, then even if Owell, even if Prince Emmanuel was, you know what I mean, was the founder, as you claim, you still fall in the trap of East Indian practices like the wearing of the Shiva Jittas, which is that big bulky thing on them head, the smoking of marijuana, you understand? And all the other customs, using weed as sacrament. Prince Emmanuel did the same. So where Prince Emmanuel get that from? You still fall in the, you know what I mean? You basically you dig yourself in a deep hole. So Stephen Justice said the first Rasta was divorced from the judge heap of Riverton City, who's never groomed their hair. Nah, you're wrong with that as well. It all started in Pinnacle with Leonard Owell. You understand? It started with Leonard Owell. If that's the name, Pinnacle. It started with Leonard Owell. Now we are gonna have different argument, but the history remains. I remember saying, I did this and I don't know like say boy. You know what I mean? I don't know like say you have to go dig down thousands of years. I did this. This is during the time of Marcus Garvey. It's recorded. Him wrote books. His son wrote books. You understand? So him say, is the first Israelite that all people follow. I and I is the first, the Israelites that all people follow. Then oh, we no smoke weed like one. Then oh, we not follow nothing what we not say. Maybe full concept of Israelite come true when you just reading the Bible. Which is where the fake Israelites from Ethiopia get it. Long before Uno. And the Israelis get it long before Uno. So, you know what I mean? So why didn't we learn it from them and not Uno? Simply because we not follow none of Uno. We are the home of the truth. We know that our origins stem from the records here in the Bible and that these people are our people. Uno don't say that. Uno say when are Ethiopians. An Ethiopian and an Israelite is two different races of people. So that they confuse. And by just reading the Bible, you don't know that. By just reading the scripture alone, without any scholarly knowledge, without any historical, you know what I mean, research, just reading the Bible alone, you don't know, say, you can't be an Ethiopian and an Israelite at the same time. These are two conflicting, you know what I mean, sections who fought against each other. Two enemies. So, food thing flawed, you know what I mean, to begin with, food thing done upside down already. Uno worship, una Israelites, I want to claim that una Israelite, but uno worship an Ethiopian as uno God, or a king. How is that possible? We're in the scriptures, because remember, you know, we don't have no concept about Israelite except through the Bible. See? So where in the Bible it said that an Ethiopian is going to be your king, and you should worship an Ethiopian. It don't in there. So oh yeah, sidestep the Israelites them record to create your own thing now, and then saying that you are the first Israelites. You are not. You have been doing something outside of the concept of what an Israelite is, and using the Bible just like Christians to justify your claims. You understand? And when named Jadaniel, keep in touch, because if Jadaniel, let me ask you a question. Are you a teacher, a Rastafarian teacher, or are you just, you know what I mean, a Rastafarian, a regular Rastafarian? Are you a fan of Rastafari, is it? Who want to know? Who want to know? See, let me continue reading this though. It said, use of Hindu victual symbolism in the promotion of the Rastafarian movement has received attention from scholars, and most recent work on this had been done by the late art historian Patrine Archer. In addition, the ritual use of marijuana and its association with the Indians, which appeared in the tradition of San Anna and Passad, has been examined in other studies. See? By joining African and Indian tradition in its shaping of the Rastafari movement, Owell gave both group representation and sense of agency and in colonial Jamaica. So that is the Rastafari movement, the fusing, I think them call it assimilation, a syncretism. Is the fusing of one culture and the next to create a demi-culture. But it is not our culture. The East Indian and the African culture are not our culture. Let me hear what I'm saying. I am a Bobo Shanti Rastaman. So are you a teacher, like a priest up a Bobo Hill? Are you a teacher? More I know. All right, no, you know, make no sense, because we have Owell picture. Owell was not an Indian. You know, make no sense no, Jadaniel. You say Owell was an Indian. Owell was not an Indian. Owell was a Negro, like we. Was an Israelite. But gone off in a Rastafariism and create this madness. He was a black man. We are talking about now. Now you lose credibility now. Can me have him picture up on my phone? We are talking about. Where the money imagine me have the picture of the man, me have him book. The book where him have with him picture upon it. We are talking about. You lose credibility now. Now tell me, are you a Rastafarian teacher? Let me see if I can find a picture of Oil. Quick and fast. 1 second. And post it up. Because, brother, you seem like you're well misinformed. 1 second. Brother, you're very misinformed. Brother, you're very misinformed. Let me see if I can put up OL picture. 1 second. Give me a second. I'll put up OL picture. 1 second. Background. Brother, this is Leonard Howell. That look like an Indian to you, or you don't know Leonard Howell? Yeah, him, but you're not listening. You're not listening at all, brother. And that is the problem. And you still don't answer my question. I will stop talking to you now, Daniel, because you seem like you can't focus. Him go by the title because him study the Indians them in Clarendon. You now listen. But this is Leonard Howell. He was a soldier, you're right. But he was a black man. He used to follow Marcus Garvey. When he come here, he start licked with the Indian them and he create Rastafariism. This is Leonard Howell. So you know, it seems like me can't. And the reason why me that ask if he's a teacher because me that one day because I set up a dialogue. But you don't have no credibility, man. You don't know where I go. You don't know where I go. You can't have a focus. So we're gonna move on. Zin? All right. So this is where the you know what I mean, the ritual use of marijuana in the Rastafari movement, you know what I mean, comes from through the East Indians who come here. So you might think that you are connecting to your African roots, quote unquote. We are not Africans, by the way, through smoking marijuana. But it's really the East Indians are really cool with them here in Jamaica. You follow, you worship Shiva. You understand? All right, before we're gonna move on to the next subject, Zane, but we're gonna play a little more of this East Indian Rastafarian, basically, in a breakdown all of what we bring out in the past. Let's skip forward. Remember to tap up the screen, share like, and you know, depending on the platform. Tap up the screen, make this go out a little bit. And all right, the Rastafari community is now in a, what do I call it now? An identity crisis. Who know the youth named Shalom? His real title is high school here, but him call himself Shalom. You know, say Shalom, Shalom. All right, let me explain something. You see, when it comes to the word Shalom, it's not a Rastafari thought, that is an Israelite thought, that we, you notice when we start the class, we say Shalom Israel. When we do a video, we say Shalom Israel. When we close the video, we say Shalom. Shalom means peace in Hebrew. You understand? We are the ones that resurrected the word Shalom. The Jewish man says Shalom. But we went back, we the ISUPK, under commanding General YAHANNA, 1969. Then resurrected the ancient Hebrew and showed them that, look, there is no O in Hebrew, there's no vowel, there's only characters. So the word Shalom is a Sha, which is a character, Zin, a La, and a Ma. But when you have them connected like that, the N word, you lose, you drop the A sound from the last character. So instead of Shalama, you get Shalom. You understand? We resurrected the ancient Hebrew. And as me I said, the Rastafari community is in an identity crisis because now they want to be we. Why? I believe the work with the ISUPK has been putting in, you know what I mean, put in, you know what I mean, here in Jamaica, we have been destroying the foundation of Rastafarianism, obliterating it. So, them in a crisis now. Them can't just simply stick to Rastafarianism. And notice, the same you when him Shalom, him call the man them guru. Why? Because obviously he might do some research too. And him know say the word guru come from, you know what I mean, East Indians. So he might add everything when he can add. Him no want left. Him no want cut off or something there for him head, you know. When I diss the brother, you know, because the brother stand up for some things where we at least appreciate that him stand up for it. You understand? We would have wish, we would have hope that the brother come find the ISUPK and a commanding general, Your Honor. You know what I mean? So he can actually make a difference, because he can't make a difference as a Rasta. Most him can be as an entertainer. You understand? And knowing our people, I'm going to say if you're in an ISUPK, you're going to buckle. You're going to buckle to the pressure, and you're going to become the very people them, God forbid, you're going to become the very people them where you're born out. You understand? Because if you want to make it up in the entertainment, you have to turn a blind eye to some things. You understand? If you're doing at the ISUPK, you have to buck, you have to shuffle. So we encourage the brother, find commanding, find Officer Abadawan here in Jamaica. Come in all black, cut off the thing there by your head. Become a trooper, and let's get this work done. You understand? So, as me I say, the Rastafari community, them in an identity crisis nowadays. So a man I say, Shalom, I'll Sisla Kalanja tell you about you need to learn the Lasha 1 Quadash. We keep Lasha 1 Quadash class every Friday. We've been doing that from 1969. So, the reason for this, you know, as people become more knowledgeable, them start questioning them own belief. And the Rastafari community, because they are not in the time of ignorance back in the past, you know what I mean, like back in the past, they might come across knowledge. And when they come across knowledge, even about them own belief, it's a hard pill to swallow. So they might transition now. Like Mutabaruka no simply walk out. He was a Pan-Africanist now, because to him, Pan-Africanism is a better foot to stand on, which is not even a good foot neither, because our Captain Tizaria destroyed Pan-Africanism already over the United States. It doesn't reach Jamaica yet. The conscious community in the United States, with Brother Polite, them and Shaka Atmos and them fish there and them pedophile there, have been destroyed already, man. The ISUPK have been wiping out these strongholds. Why? Why we do it? Because them are all lie. If them could have wiped you out, they would have do it. They can't come up against the truth. This is the truth. That's why we can't, we're firm and we not move. Prove, the Bible says, prove all things, and so far them can't prove them belief. You understand? So when Mutabaruka believing has been destroyed already in the United States by one of our captains. And now the Rastafari movement down here can't survive. It cannot. Too much information there, and them foundation weaker than ever. And that's why I tell you, Mutabaruka, them move on. They can't just simply call themselves Rasta no more. They're too weak. You understand? But what the ISUPK and the commanding general, Your Honor, have been teaching, the foundation is so strong because it's the truth. We are the Hebrew Israelites. We are the children of Israel. You understand? Him say, you sound like the voice of Rasta. Me sound like a Jamaican black man, Israelite. That me sound like. But because the Rasta them have been the voice so long in Jamaica, you think say me sound like a Rasta. Me sound like any black man here in Jamaica. You understand? Don't mistake wisdom and knowledge with Rastafariism. We're going to make a mistake if we do that. Because the Rastafari community has not brought wisdom to us. The Rastafari community has only got our children hooked and smoking weed and turning into weed heads, which eventually lead them off into other drugs. Now the youth them take Mali. You think a man just jump from, jump cold turkey into Mali and Percocets and with a pill with them, yeah, at the Mali. You have to start smoke weed first. Weed is a gateway drug, and the Rastafari community has caused our children to be hooked on weed. Let me play some more of this. See, that's why you see we go so hard. And that's why we not call with troublemaker. Like we not make no trouble. We are trying to save people from these belief systems. You understand? Let me play some more of this. So you hear him say now, you must say Krishna, which is a Hindu belief and concept, predates Christ. So now I'm come up against Bible. You understand? Where have you heard something like that before? They also hear it in the Kemet, the Pan-African people them, and the Kemishan and Kemet people them, talking about Egypt predates Christ. All right, so watch this now. That's why we don't work off at all long nails, because lie never invent yesterday. See? But when our people come with this African madness and talk about it predates the Bible and thing, fine, it predates the Bible. But so does where this man attack too. The Indian them predates something in the Bible too. And if you talk about the events them in the Bible, them no predate the Bible. They predate the penning of the scriptures, not the events or the scriptures talk about. So I know those the Africans them predate certain things. You have the Guru them, like him I said, the Hindu them. We go back for thousands of years, like I tell you. And if you listen to these Pan-Africanists and them Rasta, you that thing say African culture, this like them are not the only culture. As a matter of fact, nobody no pass Sumeria and Mesopotamia, ancient Babylon, which is Ethiopia, which the original Ethiopia is in the Middle East. With Nimrod. The original Cushites them stem from the Middle East. Mesopotamia, them that. Which leads me to my next topic. We're going to jump over into Easter. Right? And we're going to tell you about this Babylonian goddess called Ishtar. See, hopefully you not hear me upon. Give me a one if you not hear me upon YouTube. See? So now this Babylonian goddess called Ishtar. Let me pull up some of the information. Might have to just run through it for time's sake. See? Remember, tap up the screen, like, share, subscribe. This was created by the Cushites. Ishtar, the origin of Easter, or Semiramis. Let me pull it up 1 second. So, all right, let me pull up back this picture when we did have up a while ago with Asteroid. All right, so this one is Ishtar. See? But I same thing. This is Asteroid. Or the both can be interchanged, but are the same God, just in a different form. Let me do this quick and fast. What is? It's select two objects that are the same shape. All right. Bam, confirm. Refresh them. Bam, confirm. Sorry about that. See? So them interchangeable. I same thing. You notice the many breasts and this one. because this is the goddess of fertility. Let me see if I can pull up the information. One sec. Give me a moment. In the meanwhile, if you have questions, I'll come back to some of my questions them. All right, we'll start with this one. And then we're going to look up Ashtoreth in the Bible, in the pictorial Bible dictionary. So this says, what does the word Easter mean? It's certainly not a Christian word. What does the word Easter have to do with the death and resurrection of Christ? It's a Easter, like all Christian holiday and festival, has its origin in the Assyrian religion. And the word comes from the name of the Assyrian mother goddess, Ishtar. I would know our people are getting ready to celebrate Easter, right? Yeah, man, in the workplaces, them already start a give up bun already. And, you know what I mean, people are take bun to carry home. You know what I mean? These same buns or cakes were, you know what I mean, baked to Ishtar. That is where the Easter bun come from. You understand? Let me continue. It said, who was also called Semiramis and Inanna, and also Ashtoreth. We not say Ashtoreth right, that's so me just say that. Because I will show you Ashtoreth. Ishtar is the female equivalent of Asher, and at the time, Ishtar, Asher are the same and equal. All right, so that is where it comes from. See, now we'll look for Ashtoreth. See, in the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Need to mark them things. Ashtoreth. So this is where you're getting ready to celebrate. You're not celebrating the death, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, talking to the Christians. You're celebrating these Babylonian and Assyrian idol. Ashtoreth, right there. Ashtoreth. Ashtoreth. What is your name? All right, let's get it. It's a Ashtoreth. All right, let's start right here. I read pieces of all of them. Then it says Ashtoreth. Ashtoreth is a plural of Ashtoreth, name of any of the fertility goddesses of the ancient Near East, Babylonian, Ishtar, Greek, Ashtoreth in Canaan. So Ishtar and Ashtoreth are the same thing. Let me jump down to this. It says, Ashtoreth, a goddess of the Canaanites, worship all along the sea coast from Ras Shamra, Ugarit, southward through Phoenicia and Philistia. The plural Ashtoreth is found commonly and referred to the idol representing her. Male consort was apparently Baal. So it linked with Baal and all them things there. This is what Easter is. Ishtar, Ashtoreth, Easter. And in modern time, let me see if I have that picture here. You have it? No, I don't have it on the phone, you know. Now I have it on the phone, but let me see if I can pull it up. All right, so this is Ashtoreth, Ishtar. This is what we worship in Christianity. You understand? She's also called the Queen of Heaven. See? Let me find it as well. Hold on. I'm supposed to have it right also. Ashtoreth. Hold on. All right, let me just pull up the Queen of Heaven in the pictorial Bible dictionary. 1 second. 1 second. All right, pull up the Queen of Heaven, see? And it said, some controversial surrounding the philosophy of the significance of a title, but it seemed best to regard it as the female deity to whom, with their families' aid and connivance, Hebrew women made offering. The most likely identification is with Ashtoreth. So she is the queen of heaven. Now today, who's the queen of heaven today? The queen of heaven is the mother of God, Virgin Mary. She is the queen of heaven. That is what them turn Mary in the Christian church. Them basically convert them idol worship, use the Bible as the scapegoat, and present to you Jesus' mother as Ashtoreth, or the queen of heaven, or the mother of God. And notice how the Christian church, them basically turn Jesus into God so that them can make Mary now the mother of God, or the queen of heaven. Because if you are the mother of God, you are the what? The queen of heaven. You understand? When the Bible speak out against the queen of heaven, you understand? Let me find that quick and fast. See? Bible speak out against the worship of Ashtoreth. See? I think that is also in the Bible too. KJV, 1 second. All right. May have the scripture them, but I just show me I transfer them over so to this computer, so then I forgot to dig through too much files. Anyway, this is Jeremiah 44 and 19, and it says, and when we burned incense to the queen of heaven and poured out drink offering unto her, did we make her cakes? That is talking about the Easter bun. The Easter bun is a cake. We used to make cakes to the queen of heaven. Where did we learn that from? We learned that from the heathens. And today, you know what I mean, unbeknownst to us, because we are just slaves in this wicked empire, we worship the queen of heaven by celebrating Easter and eating the same cakes. You know what I mean? Now they are being sold on the shelves in the supermarket. These same cakes. See? To worship her and pour out drink offering unto her without our men. All right, so what this I say is, like this I said in the pictorial dictionary, the women partake mostly in it, just like our women partake in a Christian church. They do it without the men. You understand? That's why you have so much woman in the Christian church. Christianity have the same spirit. Christianity is the worship of the woman and the son, or the son of this, you know what I mean, this virgin woman, or this woman who, you know what I mean, never had sex. Then it excludes the man, basically. That is the main focus of these customs and idolatry. To exclude the man, empower the woman a certain way. And it's all about control. So when you control the woman, exclude the man then become weaker. You empower the woman, now you have a society where you can control. Because the man them weak. And that is what we are living in right now. That's why we thank the Most High for the ISUPK and the commanding General YAHANNA that raised strong black men to take charge of this nation again. Because we're not weak in the ISUPK, we're strong again. You understand? So if you is a man that you want to gain your strength, you know what I mean? You want to become strong because this society has robbed you of your masculinity and your strength. Find the ISUPK. Here is where we build men and make them as like fine gold. You understand? Yeah, man. All right. So that is the queen of heaven, and that is, let me see if I find Ashtoreth in the Bible. 1 sec. All of these things the Bible warns us about, you know. You see me? 1 second. All right, so we are going to 1 Kings 11 and 33. See? And it said, because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonian, Chemosh, the god of the Moabite. So it talk about these gods who worship. Now you understand why we find ourselves in a slavery. We are doing the mistake we make that ended us up in slavery, we are making it today. We still are worship them same idol, but under the disguise of worshiping, you know what I mean, the God of the Bible. But however, on this side now, under this captivity, you can't 100% blame our people because we are being deceived by the devil, which is the white man. He is the one that pushed this culture on us, unbeknownst to us. But some of our people deliberately turn them back on the truth to worship Christianity, to worship Rastafarianism, and all these other cultures. We are making the same mistakes, but the Most High present to us, you know what I mean, an opportunity to turn back to him. And that is the reason why the ISUPK, you see, we all about to teach on this roadside, seeing, on the internet. I wake you up to your culture and I point out to you the mistakes that we made that cause us to be under this oppressor. We are offending the Most High by celebrating, you know what I mean, and worshiping under these religions and celebrating these holidays. You understand? All right. Some Christian, you know what I mean, and the Christian mind is such a shallow mind because some Christian commented, Jesus Christ is Lord, as if we don't know that. You get me? I say, like, a Christian mind can't think. Like, the first thing a Christian can come up with is that we hate Jesus. Jesus is our king. His real name is Yahawashi Mashiach in the Hebrew. He's the King of Israel. He's our Lord. But the Lord now, the Father who sent Christ, is our God. The problem is the white man taught you through Christianity that Jesus is God Almighty. And you worship that white image as God. You know what I mean? And as the book, The Black Image in the White Mind says, the best slave is a Christian. And you Christians are so much slaves here that when you hear things like this, when you run to the rescue of the oppressor and Christianity, when you just can't, when it's like, you know what I mean, all wine buckles. When you can't accept the truth, and I go break and the truth I go spill out of your guts. You understand? A Christian mind, see that? And that's the problem. You know what I mean? The Christian think that our King Yahawashi Mashiach is God himself. Even though Christ himself said, I am not sent, but to do the will of the Father who sent me. Then Christ said himself. You know what I mean? Christianity is madness. Like I just want to host for mad people. You get what I say? And they don't understand the Bible. You understand? So, what I say is the Queen of Heaven, you know what I mean, is being worshipped through Easter. Easter comes from the word Ishtar, which is Semiramis from ancient Babylon. She's also Astoret, like we just read a while ago. You know what I mean? The goddess Astoret, which is this, Zin. And she's also Diana and also the Virgin Mary. You understand? And she's the goddess of fertility. Hence them worship Easter in spring, because spring is when everything become fertile again. You know what I mean? The plants them start bear fruits again, fertility, the animals them start, you know, reproduce again in spring. She's the goddess of fertility. And them basically demonstrate this through a lot of sexual, you know what I mean, explicit, you know what I mean, customs like carnival. That's why carnival is around the time of Easter. Carnival is a part of Easter, which many people don't know. You know what I mean? Some people look at Easter and say, oh, it's a righteous Christian holiday and rate, not knowing that carnival, which is sexual immorality, is tied to that very Christian holiday. And they don't know. They don't know. Carnival or bacchanal is a worship of Bacchus, which is, you know what I mean, some sexual, people having sex in the street, basically. It's a part of Easter. You understand? A Christian will never know this. A Christian have been trained to be as dumb as a dog. knowing nothing but confessing every nothing. I don't know where to put it. You understand? So, without further ado, we have a close off the class for time's sake. If you don't have questions, just please leave it in the chat. Then, as a matter of fact, what flesh did God manifest in? God never manifest in. God never come down here in flesh. Christ came down here in flesh. You understand? All right, so let me scroll up. Brother, y'all still in idolatry because y'all believe God as a son called Yahweh. Why is that idolatry? We don't worship Christ. We don't pray to Christ. We pray to the Most High. Christ said, when you pray like this, our Father who art in heaven. He never tell nobody to pray to him. We don't pray to Christ. Prince Israel said, you was Rasta before Israelite, never. Me that wear dreads though. Dreads from my head, but while wearing those dreads, I couldn't find myself a worship Selassie. Like Selassie just never make no sense to me, brother. You understand? Never was a Rasta. I live so close to the Bubble Hill. I never resonate with me because it's stupid. Like common sense just tell us say it's stupid. You know what I mean? All right, so with that, we're going to jump to the security announcements since there's no more questions. I mean, remember again, like, share, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. Remember to go over to Commanding General YAHANNA channel, the real Commanding General YAHANNA. He have a show on Mondays called The Black Watch. You know what I mean? Make sure you tune in. That is where you get real black people news. You know what I mean? And you get the updates on what the oppressor is up to when it concerning black people and Hispanics and Native Indians. What plot this oppressor is trying to pull on black people. You know what I mean? You're not going to know what type of time you're living in if you don't tune into the Black Watch. You understand? With Commanding General YAHANNA. Online classes with General Mohammed and Thursdays, you know what I mean? You have classes, scripture breakdown also on Monday. See, tune into that as well. ISUPK online classes. Then subscribe to basically every ISUPK channel. Because you can see we are the only ones bringing out the information in these times. The Rastafari community has gone silent. The most them do right now is entertain. The Christian community is now, you know what I mean, being exposed for the vile, you know what I mean? Your pastor is locking you up in the church now and telling you to fuck up your money. You know what I mean? So that go on. Zin and who else? The Muslim mosque, you know what I mean? What you can say about them? Them not exist. Zin and also who else? The conscious community has long been destroyed. The only ones you have now, and the right ones you have now, is the ISUPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA. And with that, we're going to jump to the security announcements. All right, these are the ISUPK security announcements. Where the ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, 1969. The ISUPK is run by Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. So go over to ISUPK.com, pay your tithes, support the truth, understand, stop feeding your Christian pastor, stop taking your money supporting that drug dealer, that Rasta man who sells you your 50 bag or your 100 bag, that gets you high, get your children high on weed and turn into weed junkies, weed crackheads. Because it's past the point of just being a weeded right now. Our people are weed crackheads. You understand? Can't function without weed. And that is because of your Rastafari and drug dealer. You know what I mean? If a Rasta man now, you know what I mean, promote the smoking of weed, he must sell it. Am I telling a lie? I'm a cultivated to sell it. They are the main pusher of marijuana and our children. We need to, you know, no more with this religion, no more with Christianity. You know what I mean? I believe Jamaica can do this. You understand? We believe this can happen in Jamaica. We just turn back on these religions and turn back to the scriptures. You know what I mean? Our culture, and turn back to our true identity as the children of Israel. You understand? So support the truth so it can spread far and wide. Far and wider. You understand? Zin, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. So, all right, we celebrated the Passover Saturday on the 12th of April. You understand? We are currently in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You understand? These are holy days that the Most High gave to us in the Bible, the Hebrew records that He gave to us. The Christian church do not celebrate these because the Christian church is the concoction of the oppressor, but the Most High commanded us to celebrate these. Christ Himself celebrated these. You know what I mean? We're currently in the Feast of Unleavened Bread that lasts from this Sunday to I think next Sunday, right? 8 days, right? If I'm not mistaken, maybe 7 days. But you know what I mean? The Passover, then the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where you will eat no leaven. What is leaven? See? Leaven is a rising agent. So for example, that puffy bread that you see, you know what I mean, that we always eat, right? You're not supposed to eat that for 8 days. See? Instead, you eat unleavened bread. Unleavened bread is like, you know what I mean, bread without, like flour, without leavening agent. So for example, a fritters is an unleavened bread. Of course, we have a special, we call it, ingredient on how we make the unleavened bread. But for example, a dumpling of fritters is unleavened bread. Flour and water basically, but you know you have to put more things in it. See? But not leavening agents that cause it to swell like all the bread in the supermarket swell. Reason being is because when the Most High freed us out of Egypt, we didn't have time to put leaven in our breads and wait till it rise. We had to eat the bread, you understand, while it was unleavened. Just flour and no leaven in it. See? Because the Most High was freeing us out of Egypt and we had to leave in haste. And the Most High said, do this forever in remembrance when He freed us from Egypt. And so we do that. We keep the Passover and we keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You understand? And that is why we implore you to just tune into the ISUPK, keep locked in, because we're not going to miss what we want. And we're not going to be able to keep in, you know what I mean, in sync with what the Most High wants you to do. You understand? All right, so we are currently in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? See? Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. All right? So, if you want to be a part of the school, start wearing your all black like we all did. You know what I mean? Give us a call so that we can register you to prove that you did your 90 days so you can get a Hebrew name. You understand? And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute. See? We have Israel Imadium Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barak Thumb. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel, Imadium Shabbat. Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathon, Basham Yahweh Shai. Yaramata, class dismissed. And feel free to contact us if you have a question concerning a breakdown of the scripture. You understand, just give us a link. You can leave us a direct message here on TikTok. You can give us a call. The number is always in the descriptions of all our videos on YouTube and Facebook, and also in the bio of all our pages. We also have a Linktree link where you can click that link and follow all our social media. And of course, you can contact us on those as well, and even via email. And with that, Shalom.